Hey everybody, welcome back to the Time Pass podcast. This is your host, Ashika. Thank you so much for joining me today, you guys. If you haven't done so already, please like me on Facebook at Time Pass Podcast. Follow me on Instagram at TimePass_podcast. And check out the YouTube channel where you can watch all the episodes of the Time Pass podcast. You can find the link to that in my bio on my IG or on my website, timepasspodcast.com, where you can also find show notes, bonus content, and more information about yours truly. If you are an auditory listener, you are joining us on Spotify, iPodcasts, iHeartRadio, Pandora, wherever you are tuning in to the show. Please make sure that you are liked, followed, or subscribed. I would greatly appreciate it if you could show me that support. All right, you guys, I know that you guys come to the show, my time passers, to listen to me tell you my funny dating stories or my horrible dating stories, let's be honest. Talk about dating apps and listen to my crazy vacation travels and stories and stuff that happens. But, guys, I need to take a break. I need a reset. I don't know how y'all are feeling, but I am in desperate need of a mental reset. And there's been a few things going on in my life and a few characteristics or traits that I've noticed about myself recently and in others. And we've actually had healthy conversations about this with friends who also have experienced similar thoughts and feelings as myself as to why we do it. So I also started getting on the internet to do a little bit of research and on a couple of the items I want to talk about today. And I just feel like it's okay to want a mental reset. It's okay to want to take a break from everything we have going on. We're all busy. We're all doing 1,000,001 things right now. It's okay to take time to right your mind a little bit. And I'll talk about, in today's episode, I'm going to talk about what I've been experiencing and kind of the current events that have led me there. So let's just dive right into it. And I'm going to talk about the last couple weeks that have been weeks from hell, okay? I've had a lot of fun, okay? These last couple weeks, I have had a lot of fun. I've met some amazing people, but I have been going non-stop. If you are a time passer and you tune into the show, last holiday season, I was feeling very overwhelmed, and I talked about it frequently on the show. I would say I feel even worse than that. Over the last couple weeks, I've been feeling extremely overwhelmed, and for somebody who is clearly an extrovert, when I start to feel overwhelmed, I really want to spend time with myself and really narrow that circle down a little bit. And it's hard because old habits die hard, but I really do just kind of want to spend time with myself when I start to feel really overwhelmed, because I sometimes often feel like I have to be on when I'm around other people, because our friends, our family, they have an expectation of how we behave, our mood, our attitude, the way we talk, the jokes we make, whatever it is. And sometimes being on all the time is not something that I can do. It's rare that I can't do it, don't get me wrong. I'm pretty much on a lot. But when I'm feeling really overwhelmed, I tend to want to really either hang out with just my core or just by myself. And that's kind of what I've done all day today. I was with my mom for a couple hours. I had to work for half the morning. That's what I'm saying, right? I can't even get a day to myself. I'm so busy. But I did have the whole afternoon to myself. And I knew I needed to record. I wanted to record the show. But I also knew that if I didn't give myself a mental rest, I wouldn't be bringing my best self to this recording, to this show. So we need to take time for ourselves in order to continue to be ourselves, in order to be that quality person that we want to be. And sometimes that requires rest, and it's perfectly okay to have that. And so this week has just been kind of crazy. I've had car trouble, I've had a sick kid, I've had really raging hardcore deadlines at work, I've had just issues with people, customers at work. It's just been a lot. It's been a lot, and a lot of deadlines and more crap getting added to my plate at work. And then it also feels like at home a little bit. Like, of course, I'm a single mom and I live alone, so I do everything myself. So it just feels like sometimes there's a lot more to do when you're on your own. And because I was so busy the last couple weeks and I did have a lot of fun, I also missed a couple of my workouts. Like, I hadn't worked out for almost 7 days, which if you follow me on Instagram, you will see that I have a pretty regular workout schedule, and that involves me working out about 3 or 4 times a week. So to take that I've been doing for months now, and to not do it for a very short amount of time, for about a week, it had a profound effect on me. I found myself unable to regulate my moods as well. And this is just me telling you guys what I experienced by changing my routine and not working out. I found that my emotions were all over the place and I couldn't regulate it. And I'm a big fan of that law of motion, right? An object at motion stays in motion, an object at rest stays at rest. I think that is very true for human beings. It's very true for myself. I will speak for myself. And because I had not worked out, not because I didn't want to, but because I had things to do, I was busy, so I couldn't make my workout. And not because I was just being like flaking. I wasn't flaking on my workout. I actually couldn't make it to my scheduled workout. So it was like, because I hadn't worked out for so many days, it was really hard for me to push myself, and it took me a while. I was feeling very roller coastery emotion-wise for about 3 days, and then finally I started thinking, I was like, I haven't felt this way for a really long time. Like, I'll get in a bad mood, but usually I'll get over it. You know what it is? It's my workouts. They make me feel better. They regulate my emotions. They regulate my hormone, whatever it is. They give you those endorphins when you're done. You feel accomplished. You feel proud of yourself. Like, it's a boost. It's a boost of positivity that I very regularly used to having in my life on a weekly basis, multiple times a week, and I hadn't had it for days. And I knew it. When I finally made the correlation, I was like, okay, I have to work out. I have to get back to this. The second thing was, I just knew that I needed time alone. So I actually, the last day of my work week, I only had to work a half day, and I was anxious a little bit. I didn't want to spend the day at home like I did today. I actually wanted to kind of escape and get away. And I'm having this feeling of anxiety, and I think, honestly, you guys, I think when I travel, it is a coping mechanism for me, and it's a giant reset. And that is the reset I'm talking about. Like, I need a reset. Unfortunately for me, I cannot travel right now. I've taken a lot of mini trips. I have a bigger trip that I plan on taking later this year. So I need to save money. And I cannot just up and leave right now at this point in time. Hopefully, maybe in another month or two, I can squeeze a trip in. But right now, I cannot. And I started thinking, because I just started thinking, do I want to drive? Do I want to drive up to San Francisco? Do I want to go down to Tahoe? Where do I want to drive to? Let's just get away. And then I was like, I don't want to drive. If I'm going to drive somewhere, then I'd rather, like, if I'm going to spend the money and go on a weekend trip, I'd rather save that money and go on one of my planned trips that are filed away for when you have time, go here. So I started thinking, and I was like, I am somebody who has a good social circle. So it's rare that I am alone and social. But one of the reasons why I love to travel and travel solo is because I rather very much like my own company. And I really like being alone and out in a new place and meeting new people because I meet the best people. And so I decided that I was gonna pretend that I was alone and in a new place. So I decided to I came home early that day after working a half day, got some more work done, got ready, and I just went out, and I decided to go to little pubs and bars in the area that I know of, and maybe I've been in there once but never really spent a lot of time in there. So I was like, I'm just gonna go to some new places and meet new people and see what it's like and just turn my brain off a little bit, like have casual, easy conversation with strangers. They don't know who I am. They don't know my personality or how I'm supposed to be. So I can just be. And that was super fulfilling for me. I have to say, like I said, old habits die hard. So I had ended up telling a few friends that I was going to be out and about downtown, and my besties, Tej and Fabs, the after show crew, ended up meeting me up. So I was only alone for about 2-3 hours before they showed up. But I think it was nice. It was time that I needed to just kind of be in my element and get reacquainted with myself and just get comfortable in my own skin, because I was just feeling really drained and really tired and in need of a reset. So I know that when I need a reset, I start wanting those things. I want to travel. I want time alone. I want to be in my home. I want to just read. Guys, I'm such a bookworm. Time passer, some of you know this if you listen to the show or you've seen some of my TikToks or videos. I am such a bookworm. I love just being left alone all day long when I'm reading a good book. You can leave me alone. You will start to think that I don't exist in the room anymore, because I will not move if I'm in a really good book. So I don't know. I kind of felt like the last couple weeks have just been getting to me, and I just needed some time to reset my mind and brain and attitude and everything. And I think that's perfectly fine, and I hope that's really relatable to you guys, because I think we all need it. And I had friends, Tej, she was like, this has been the week from hell. And we all have those weeks. We all have those times where we need a little reset, where we get a little quieter, where we crawl more within and start looking within and to solve our own problems instead of looking without, right? A lot of times we turn to others to solve our problems or make us feel better. I hit a certain point where I'm like, no, I need to look within, be with myself, get comfortable with whatever's going on in my life on my own. Nobody can do that for me except for me. So that kind of was really how the last few days have gone for me, was just really wanting a reset, time alone, time with just like my core. Like I said, the only people I've really seen is my core and then my mom. I met up with some other friends, but it was very brief last night, and I just decided I didn't want to be on, and I left. I ended up leaving early. But, and then I started thinking on a larger scale and trying to tie this into some recent conversations that I've had. And it actually goes back to my workouts. I was talking to my trainer, and I was telling her that, she tells me often, I've been working out with her for a while, she's like, wow, you're leaning out, you look great, blah, blah, blah. And I never believe her. And we'll get dressed up. If you follow me on the socials, I'm a big picture taker. I'm always doing things, posting pictures, selfies, reels, whatever it is. And there are photos that are taken of me, and I look at them and I'm like, oh, I look great in this photo. And then I look at myself in the mirror, and that person that looks great is not who I see. And I find that that's a huge disconnect for me. I was telling my trainer that I was at an event, and I had people that I hadn't seen in a while, and they were coming up to me. They're like, you look great. You look fantastic. You look great. And I'm just like, oh, thank you. It's like, it's such a shock. I'm so like surprised by it. You know, I'm like, oh, thank you. And I say thank you because it's the polite thing to say, and it's a compliment, so it does make you feel good. But I don't know if I believe them. I don't know if I believe them. And it's that same thing when you look at pictures of yourself, and I see the pictures and I'm like, wow, I look great. And then I look at myself in the mirror in real life, and I'm like, I don't look like that. I look like this. And there's a huge disconnect. And I was talking to my trainer about this, and guys, she is in phenomenal shape. Phenomenal shape. Check her out at Kaleo Fitness. And she was telling me that she sometimes feels that way about herself, her own body, which is like phenomenal. Girl, like, I'm jealous. And I'm like, and I was talking with her, and I was like, why do you think it's like that for us? Like, why can other people see something in us that we can't see ourselves? And she said for her, she thinks she's just like really hard on herself. And I think for me, that's also true. I am really hard on myself. I know what I'm capable of. I know when maybe I think I've been lazy, and maybe I could have done more. Maybe I could have pushed harder. Maybe I didn't need to go to bed that early. Maybe I didn't need to go out, and I should have done that instead. You know, I am very hard on myself. And then I started doing some research because this topic, it really piqued my interest because it's a very common problem, right? We've all heard it before, where someone's like, I don't like compliments. Compliments make me uncomfortable. On the same token, when a man compliments me, I am very suspicious. I am, because I'm like, what do you want? Do I believe you, or do you want something? Are you being genuine, or do you just want to date? Like, or do you want to sleep with me? Like, what is it? Like, I don't believe you. And it's hard because, yeah, there are some like greasy, gross, grody men like that are probably complimenting you just to like get in your pants or whatever. But there are really genuine people out there that are complimenting you because they actually feel that way or have that thought about you. And it's interesting, but when I was doing my research and I looked at a couple different articles, one was on Inc.com, one was the Huffington Post, but a theme on both of those was that when people compliment us, we think immediately, like, what do they want from us? Like, they're being nice to us because they want something. We're very distrusting of compliments as humans. So I thought that was really interesting, and I could relate to that because I do feel that way when men give me compliments. You know, there's just some compliments that I don't like. And, you know, I think a lot of females feel this way, but like, I don't want to be called hot. You can tell me I'm beautiful, but I don't want to be called hot. And I don't like that compliment at all because I feel like it's very focused on like the surface of how you look and not somebody who's looking into you and looking into your soul. Another thing that I found was a lot of us don't like compliments because we have a little bit of imposter syndrome. And you may have heard this word used a lot. This term has been used a lot recently. It's all over the internet. It's all over socials. People talk about it a lot. But what is imposter syndrome? I actually looked up the definition, y'all, and I have it for you. So the imposter syndrome is the persistent inability to believe that one's success is deserved or has been legitimately achieved as a result of one's own efforts or skills. guys, I totally have imposter syndrome. Like, we all do, probably to an extent. But I do have imposter syndrome a little bit, you know? It's like when someone says I look great, I'm like, oh, I do? Like, are they going to see through me? Like, maybe it's the clothes I'm wearing. Maybe it's the color I'm wearing. Maybe it's the Spanx I have on under. I don't know, you know? But it's like, I do feel a little bit of like, oh, they're going to see through me any second now. The same thing with, you know, when somebody compliments something else I do. Like I had a gathering here with a bunch of ex-coworkers from a previous job, and a few of them got together and started saying some really nice things to me. And I was just like, kind of like a deer in headlights. And I was super thankful, and I said thank you. But part of me was like, they're gonna know that I didn't know what I was doing. I was just, you know, I some of the things they said I don't even remember doing. And so I was like, okay, thanks. And I'm like, I don't know that I did that. And it's like, they're gonna see through me. They're gonna see through me any second. And it's really hard. I think imposter syndrome is a big reason why we don't, you know, believe compliments that people give us. And then the third thing that I found lined up with exactly what me and my trainer were saying. We are hard on ourselves. We don't believe that about ourselves. So it's really hard to believe it coming from someone else as well. And so I started thinking about all this, and I was like, why is this so common? Because a lot of people in my own circle deal with it all the time. And I think we know some of the whys that I just talked about. But then I started thinking, like, how can we flip the script? How can we flip the script and start to become okay with compliments? And I thought long and hard about this, and something that I think we all see a lot of nowadays, and I have to give a shout out to Jay Shetty, because a couple years ago he offered, I think he's done it for like 2-3 years in a row, but he offered these like free genius classes for a week, and I signed up for them at least 2 or 3 years in a row. And then I actually did join his genius community for maybe like half a year or so, for a little bit. And something that I learned from him, and this particular practice is everywhere. I think I've seen it on the internet, social media, everywhere. So I don't know if he's the one who invented it, but I learned the concept from him. And the concept is a lot of us sometimes have a negative outlook on what's going on in our life. And the reason why is because we're not grateful enough, and we don't look enough at the things that are going right in our life. So one of the things that he introduced to me was the concept of a gratitude journal, and to just start my day and end my day by writing down 3 things that I'm thankful for. And they can be the most mundane things. I remember when I was really avid, like now I only do it when I need like a little boost. But I remember when I was avidly doing it, like daily, I would write down the stupidest things, but it would make me feel good. It would make me wake up positive and go to bed positive. It would be like, I had a great conversation with my brother on the phone today. I'm grateful for that. And it's the small things like that that we maybe take for granted. As much as maybe I take for granted the conversations that I can have with my brother, there's probably somebody else out there who's really sad because maybe they don't have a brother, or their brother's no longer in this world and they can't have any more conversations with their brother. So that really helped me to start looking at the things in my life in a more positive way instead of negatively, especially not to start my day thinking of like, oh, I have to do this and I have to do that, but like, I'm thankful for this, I'm thankful for that. So as I was trying to come up with a solution for our problem of not being able to take compliments and just needing to reset our brains a little bit so that we can take compliments, because let's face it, we can't all afford to jot off on a vacation like I very much want to do every time I feel like I need a reset. I started thinking if I could apply that same principle to myself. So this is something that I want to do, you guys. I want to challenge you, and I'm going to challenge myself. If you are relating to what I'm talking about right now, you need a reset, you don't deal with compliments well, maybe you're just feeling overwhelmed and like you need air a little bit, and maybe you feel like you're not doing a good job. I think that's kind of like where my week from hell came from. I just felt like I wasn't fulfilling every role I needed to fulfill extremely well, like sick kid, mom, podcaster, workout, worker at work, family member, you know. If you need a little reset and you need a little positive boost, let's try this. I think if you have a gratitude journal, or if you don't, start one. And I would say, as you're writing down 3 things you're thankful for, let's try a new one and write down 1 thing that you're thankful for about yourself. Say something kind to yourself. What are you thankful for that you're able to do that maybe you couldn't do before? Or maybe you're thankful, you wake up and you're like, I'm thankful that I know how to cook and I was able to make myself a delicious dinner last night that I really wanted to eat. Or I'm so thankful for myself for showing up to my workout this morning. I'm so thankful for myself for getting that assignment done on time at work. You know, it's just a little theory I have that I think that the same concepts of a gratitude journal to make us change our outlook on life into a more positive one, perhaps that can also help us to change our outlook of ourselves into a more positive one. If we start looking at things that we are thankful to ourselves for, because like I said, there's a lot of us that struggle with compliments and we're very hard on ourselves. And that's okay. You know, I'm hard on myself because I have goals. There's things I want to achieve. If I wasn't hard on myself, I wouldn't be doing half the things that I'm doing on a daily, weekly basis. So I have to be hard on myself. But that doesn't mean that I can't take 2 minutes out of my day to appreciate something that I do, because then maybe I'll have an appreciation for myself as well. Try it out, guys. Let's see how this works, you guys. Who else feels like it's time for a reset? It's not even mid-year, you guys. It's barely spring, and I already need a reset. I feel bad about that, but it is what it is. You know, when you're putting out a lot of energy into the world in different aspects, you have to claim some of that energy back. It's like you can't fill someone else's cup from an empty cup. So you have to take care of yourself also. It's like the plane thing, right? Like whether you got to put your own face mask on before you can put on someone else's face mask. You have to help yourself before you can help others. So let's give this theory a try. Let me know if you're going to try this out with me. I would love to hear if it helped you in any way or if it had any effect on you. I'm going to try it out for myself. If you have any other tips on how to start seeing yourself in a more positive light, please share them with me. I'd love to hear and try things out. So shoot me an email, timepasspodcast@gmail.com, or drop me a DM on my Instagram. That's all I have for you guys. I know it's not our usual cheeky dating stuff or cute travel stories, but I try to keep it authentic with you guys. I say that at the end of every single one of my podcasts, and this is just how I felt this week. And I thought maybe there's some of you out there who struggle with some of the same stressors and struggles that I have about accepting compliments and imposter syndrome and being hard on myself and the way I view myself versus the way others view me. All right, you guys, that's all I have for you. If you haven't done so already, please like me on Facebook at Time Pass Podcast. Follow me on Instagram at timepass_podcast. And please make sure you hit like, follow, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. You can find the link for that in my bio on Instagram or on the website, timepasspodcast.com. If you are a Time Passer, you enjoy listening to me in the Time Pass Podcast, do me a favor and share the show with one friend. I would greatly appreciate it. Let's get some more time passers. Let's slowly spread our time passer wings out to our circles, and I would really appreciate it if you could share the show with at least one person. All right, you guys, if you need a reset, take it. Stay authentic to who you are, and I'll see you next time.